back
Yeah, we're
ish.
back. We're bigger and better, and we're way better than Resident Evil on Netflix. That's all I'm gonna say about
Yeah,
that. So that was our episode
we
for the day.
yeah, we watched the first episode today, or at least I did. You
I watched
went
the
with a lot.
entire series today, just hoping that there was gonna be a moment that was like, you know what? Yes, there wasn't. There's so much stuff you haven't even seen yet that, oh man. But yeah, the first episode, you know,
That was fucking something. We should we'll explain kind of what happens in it, and then kind of share our thoughts.
oh,
So we kind of start off.
I'm gonna go through this whole episode and just tear it apart. Spoilers all over the place.
Yeah, do you remember it? I mean, you've gone a lot further.
Oh
Did
yeah,
it burn into
I
your?
rewatched the first episode while you were watching it. I totally
So we
partook
kind
in all of that.
of fuck this.
I
Okay,
went down the
so
rabbit hole twice.
I don't like jumping on the Rotten Tomatoes bandwagons. There's been a lot of movies that are scored pretty poorly that I do enjoy.
Rotten
Like
Tomatoes,
critic.
in my opinion, to agree with what you're about to say, is trash.
Yeah,
They like to give poor reviews critically, like through Rotten Tomatoes, to a lot of things that are great. And I mean, even some of the user reviews for those projects are trash, but the production itself is fantastic, and vice versa. They'll critically acclaim something that is so bad, and they're like, "This got a 92%," and you're like, "It should have been a 1%." I don't know what you were thinking, Rotten Tomatoes, but
it's also we hold Rotten Tomatoes to some standard because everyone's like has a Rotten Tomato score of blah 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 blah, like
yeah,
it really fucking matters.
they're the
And
first people that are referenced on Rotten Tomatoes. It got a who cares?
yeah, so I really don't like jumping onto that bandwagon, and so I try really hard to be objective. And
Goonies has like a
I know you.
26% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I also don't like most reviewers.
Yeah.
I'll watch people I agree with, but like they did once say that Repo Genetic Opera was the worst movie of the year. It made me want to see it more, and I fucking dug the shit out of that movie. So
Yeah.
that's where we stand on critics. Um, this show is I could understand the rating that it got.
I didn't even look. What did Resident Evil get on Rotten Tomatoes?
I don't know, but it was pretty low. I mean, I remember seeing articles like saying like has an extremely low Rotten Tomatoes score, and since I don't really give a fuck about Rotten Tomatoes,
I'll pull that
I
up.
didn't.
I'll find it. I'll screenshot it and I'll put it in the video. It's floating around here right now as I'm talking somewhere. It's on the screen.
Yeah, I didn't read the article because I didn't really care. I didn't really
I didn't
really
either.
care that the
I did see that it got a whole lot of praise. Everybody loves it on Twitter. It's just getting massive
who
massive love on Twitter.
is it?
No, everybody fucking hates it, man. It's getting trashed, dude. They are dragging it through the mud. As a matter of fact, there are also random comments popping up on screen right now from people's Twitter reviews of it. It's rough. I was really
But
disappointed when the show opens. You know, it opens on a bunny rabbit in a cage. There's eerie music playing, and then it shows like the dystopian apocalyptic post-apocalyptic city just in the background. You know, straight out of I Am Legend or something. And you feel like the show is gonna have promise, and then,
did you?
well, yeah, for the first 2 minutes. And then
You think?
immediately I lost that promise, and I'm gonna say this, and I guarantee you didn't catch this because I don't know why you would, but it goes into the tent of the main character Jade, and she's on a video call with her daughter
Yeah.
and husband.
And she mentions Disneyland.
Yeah, but if you look at the tablet, there's no internet connection. And the only thing open on her tablet is Microsoft Paint. So apparently, you can make video calls using Microsoft Paint without an internet connection. So, life hack for all you broke people out there that want to video call people without a cell phone. Just get a Android or um what are those Microsoft tablets called? I don't know. I don't care.
Tablet? Android tablets?
Just get one of those apparently and open Microsoft Paint and you can call people cuz that's what they did in the show. It was
I did
terrible.
not notice
Yeah,
that.
I did just because I watched it twice and the first time I watched it I was thinking they in the first episode they mentioned that 6 billion people in the planet are dead and are now zombies or zeros as they call them. Shout out to zombie movies and shows based on zombie video games that refuse to acknowledge that they're zombies. What's up with that? Personally, I can't stand zombie movies that refuse to call them zombies. I mean, I don't
Well,
get it.
if you kind of go with what zombies originally were before they became the living dead, they were kind of just voodoo.
Yeah, but I mean
That was a long time ago.
that was in the golden like creation days of zombies. There were a few things. I mean, there were ghouls. They were
Yeah,
um what did they call them in the voodoo shit? There was something that they were called, but
zombies,
I don't remember what it was. I remember them being called ghouls before they were ever called zombies.
ghouls, zombies. They were kind of the same until like I think what George A. Romero decided that they were now flesh eaters and
Yeah. Yeah, well,
or
George
brain eaters.
Romero did the whole like flesh eating thing, and then I can't remember who did Return of the Living Dead, but they're the ones, or Return of the Living Dead 2. One of those, they decided, you know what? They want brains. That's what they're after. You want to eat your
Brain.
brains. But yeah, back to what I was saying. When I first watched the show, they referenced that 6 billion people are dead and 300 million people are alive. I was like, who the fuck was keeping up the cell towers? Like all these people are making video calls. Uh, who who's working on this stuff? There's only 300
Oh,
million people left worldwide. I'm guessing that they're not in the city where she was making that call from. So, how is she
well,
making the
maybe they live
call?
in a city right next to it that's also lined with those flamethrowers. We haven't got to that yet.
Yeah,
This is,
that was actually kind of cool. I mean,
I
we,
don't,
we
it makes no
can
sense.
jump right into that because that is the next scene. You know, she goes out
Well,
to do the little field test.
we start off with what the sequel to Watership Down, and the rabbits are being chased by, or a rabbit is being chased by a little group of zombies, and they're fall. I do like that they make the zombies fall over each other. I
Yeah,
like that.
no, there was the show does have some good aspects of it. The zombies are actually really great in the show. Some of the CGI is pretty damn good. Um, it's much better than the Resident Evil movie that came out last year. Welcome to Raccoon City. That was ass.
This is ass.
This is so bad, but that was actually worse because this, well, I was gonna say doesn't use characters from the games, but they got Albert Wesker in there.
Yeah, he looks different.
Yeah, well, he's white in everything else, and he's a black man in this, so he
But
definitely looks different.
so what we were talking about the fucking like the testing, and she's trying to get him what to chase this rabbit, and she's talking not quietly either. So
No,
and we all know that zombies are attracted to noise,
Yep. And in
and
this,
she's
they're
talking extremely loud and
attracted to
enter the
smell.
recording, and she fucking cuts herself, and almost immediately they all look at her. Like they didn't even give time for it to actually bleed yet. She just
Oh yeah, they were right on top of that smell. They're like, oh, blood.
and
Let's
no one.
go.
She's super surprised.
Yeah, that
She
she
is
cut
surprised.
herself.
No, she's surprised that they're gonna fucking chase her. But they have fail safes that this might be a thing, but she's just like, holy shit, this is actually happening. Like it's not a thing that she's working for them. It's not like they didn't go, all right, make sure you get here. Don't be fucking surprised that they're gonna fucking chase you because they're zombies.
Yeah.
And she's just like, holy shit, they're chasing me. Right after calling them stupid.
Yeah, then her fire deterrent security system just sets off a gigantic live action game of hungry hippos, only they couldn't get any of the hippos because they're on vacation or break or something, so they got a very angry caterpillar to stand in for them and
Yeah,
crack
well,
through the ground.
she
And
was running. She did a quick turn, and all the zombies like slammed into each other, which was actually like the best part of the whole episode.
you know
Was all
what?
the zombies.
You know what's really funny about that? Since you bring up the zombies chasing her, another thing I noticed the second watch of the first episode, the first zombie that tackles her, she gets pinned to the ground by it. All the other zombies
Uh,
are just standing there in the background. Like they really appreciate the rules of finders keepers. All right? Like
yeah,
they were like, "All
they
right, I
did.
guess he got her. We're out."
Yeah, remember, there's no leadership or anything in this crew because she just said that
Yeah.
because of a rabbit
So
test.
you got
And
30 zombies ish chasing you down, and as soon as one touches you, the rest of them are just like, I guess I'm done.
well, that's how like movie villains work. Everyone takes their turn. If he would have died, the next one would have came and took their turn.
I know,
I
right?
think it's a martial arts school of.
Because it's a main character, but in and I mean, I think that the writing choice of that was lazy and should have been done differently. I guess is what I'm saying. Because if you look at there's other scenes later on in the series where a mob of zombies, bum rushes somebody, and that person gets mobbed on by several zombies at once. Any zombie movie, if you see a horde of zombies go at somebody, they all go at that person. It's not just one and the rest of them stand there in the background like, oh no, that's a main girl.
I think I think the other ones were like, well, that bitch is fast. She deserves a chance.
Yeah, they were like, time out, time out.
Give her a breath. It's no fun if she's.
Yeah, it's no fun if we just end this entire show
So
right now.
then she sets off her. Yeah, she sets off her fire like barricade, and the one zombie that tackled her walks through the fire. I was hoping that thing would still be alive and fucking like kill her. You still see the zombies twitching. Not all of them were even burned, but she walks through them, and no one buddy grabs her or anything.
Yep, and
And
hungry caterpillar.
then the ground starts fucking shaking. And you gotta know these writers were like, what's popular now? Fucking Dune. But instead of sand,
Yeah, yeah, they were like, well, we can't get the sandworm, so how about a cute little caterpillar? It's all green and blue, only it's gonna
we're not in
be
a desert,
a
but
story tall and
it's gonna come up from the
mad
pavement.
angry.
And then the hungry caterpillar is gonna come and try to eat her because those strawberries and apple pies and shit wasn't enough.
Yeah, and then, we're just gonna insert the first of many very poorly placed flashbacks in the entire show. They happen all of the time without prompting. I mean, she's running away from this caterpillar, and then it just decides, you know what? We're gonna welcome you to the new Raccoon City. We're gonna take you back to the past, the year 2022, where you know this character and other characters are moving to New Raccoon City in South Africa, and it's a scene straight
And
out of the Stepford Wives. Everything is white,
it is.
including their welcoming cake. Like, who makes a cake and then covers it in white frosting? And it's not even detailed or fancy. It's just white.
It's just a fucking cake. But this lady is nice. She's gonna take. All right, so the main character has a sister,
Billy.
and Billy, and she was like, "I'll give you a tour." And well, the main character as a kid was like angsty as shit, and was like, "Fuck this place" from the moment they drove in. I mean, from I don't know where they were from beforehand, but it didn't seem that bad. You had kids playing basketball outside, and this nice lady gonna take you for fucking cupcakes. She's like, "Fuck that."
Yeah.
She was like, even what, like even a couple of them are vegan.
Yeah.
That ties in later on, but that's just like being nice. Like, hey, even if
People mentioned that
meat,
this is one of the greatest places to live right now. Who, Lululemon whores? And
yeah, Elon Musk.
God, what did she say before? I can't remember what she said. Lululemon whores, something, and Elon Musk. CrossFit something.
Yeah. Oh, people that masturbate to
Yeah, people that
CrossFit.
masturbate to CrossFit. That's it. Yes. Lululemon whores, people that masturbate to CrossFit, and Elon Musk. Oh,
But like, it really isn't that bad. She's just being fucking bitter. And she's so upset with her sister, like, not fighting, because I guess before they moved, our main character decided to break plates and throw a major fit because she didn't want to move to
New Raccoon City.
New. Well, I was gonna think, like, it looks like, you know, the movies, like, John Waters movies, his version of Suburbia?
Yeah. Or like Pleasantville or
Yeah, like the Too Perfect to Be Real-esque
yeah.
plays
Literally everything
where
is
it
the same in this city. All of the houses are white, all of the fences are white, all the security cameras are white, the rocks outside are white. Everything inside of these houses is white. It's just it's all white. Everything.
and it makes me think that everyone living in this place is like the like serial mom.
Yeah. Shout out to
Like
that
she's
good
just
movie, by the way.
and she's just like there's another character that's probably looking out their window going, "Oh, you're not recycling that bitch."
Yeah, they leave you a note.
Yeah, and but this girl is so upset, and the other girl's like, "You know what? I just want to get along with dad and make things easier." Like rational, like what a teenager would probably do after like
Yeah.
fighting for a while. Like, you know what? Fine. I'm tired of
I don't know what teenagers do anymore.
making shit hard.
I have no idea.
Like, it seems more rational. Like, she's the more mature one
Yeah.
until later.
For like 20 minutes of episode 1. Not to spoil, we're only on the first episode, so she does appear. They totally like role swap. It's weird.
Yeah, almost like immediately. Like, well, not immediately. So they, oh wait, no. And then they cut back to present day. I'm putting quotes on present day because it's 2033,
36, yeah.
36.
Yeah, they cut back to the future or their present day where she's still being chased by the cat. Oh wait, no, we forgot the great segue. So the whole reason they go to this flashback is so that they can end it with Billy having a caterpillar crawling on her fingers. Like, dude, I don't
Yeah.
know who wrote this, but none of us like you. And I
Well,
don't say that very often or at
I don't
all.
know if they're saying like this is the same caterpillar.
Well, it definitely wasn't the
And
same caterpillar. It was just supposed to be a dumb segue into the monster caterpillar.
I wanted it to be the same caterpillar because it was like on her sister's finger. Maybe it recognized the
Yeah.
main character
Then it cuts
and
back
was
to
like,
her running
"You're
away
a
from the
fucking."
monster caterpillar. with
Remember me?
like
Love me.
it's such a bad cut. Like the fact that they threw that flashback in there mid run and then they cut back to her running away when the flashback has nothing to do with that situation. I don't know. I felt like it was stupid and poorly placed.
Well, this town seems like a pretty nice place to live. They don't like force you to like eat certain things because like you have options. There's what, six bakeries, two of them are vegan. So like
Yeah.
they're like have options.
Yeah. Again,
And
I don't know
fuck
why
this.
they flashed back to that scene so that you could know that they have six bakeries. Like I don't think that that flashback fit there. Like it could have started with that scene, or they could have flashed back to that after what came next, which is it goes back to her being chased by the caterpillar and she gets slammed
And
unconscious.
yeah, the caterpillar is all close to her because like it recognizes her or something and was like, "Give me a kiss," and then people start shooting at it, and it takes like a couple hundred bullets, but it was still hungry.
Yeah.
But then it falls over, and not a leaf is gonna help this caterpillar. And he dies, and the rebels or whatever, the resistance, realize that she's a survivor of the zombie apocalypse and take her to their place. And then another flashback. It's now school time.
Yeah, now you get to
And
see the Raccoon City middle school or high school. I don't know if it's just a one age fits all school because as the camera pans through the cafeteria at one point, I kid you not, there's a dude in there that looks like he's 48.
there's schools that go K through 12, and I have no like issue with that. But
I have an issue with the 48-year-old sitting at the table in the
eh,
cafeteria.
maybe he's a teacher.
I mean, I
So
guess.
their mascot's a fucking raccoon. It's a Raccoon City Raccoons.
Yep.
You couldn't think of anything else. Isn't that like a little bit like why couldn't it be like the Raccoon City Canines or something like
Anything
why
else?
is it yeah, anything else?
Anything else just not blatantly lazy?
And there's this person walking around in a raccoon mascot outfit. And this is where you meet our not saying any of the other characters aren't cliche, but our cliche bully character.
Everybody's cliche.
And this is where you learn that her and her sister are test tube babies, which okay, cool.
Yep.
Which makes them twins because they were born at the same time.
Yep, they were same dad, two different mothers, surrogate mother carried them and delivered them at the same time. So they are physically twins, but not genetically.
Yeah. And then oh, they're test tube babies. So the bully was like, "Oh, so you're a freak?" And she's like, "No, I'm not a freak. Yay, science!"
Yeah.
And
What's up
I
with your
think that's
shirt? Oh, I'm vegan.
this, and we know this is not how vegans talk. First of all, everyone in that school knows she was a vegan the moment she walked in there because she would have told every person she walked past, "Hey, I'm vegan. How are you today?"
You know, again, as a vegan, I personally take vegan offense to you saying that vegans announce their veganism every 8 seconds or at least 6 times in a conversation, vegan.
And I know right now you're kidding, but you know how many times I've heard the fact that you're vegan since we've known each other?
Well, you mean over the course of almost 3 years? Probably at least 30.
No, it's probably like hundreds and thousands.
That's not true. I don't talk about being vegan.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Which is okay. But this that's just how vegans are, and it's okay.
Well, I mean, it's just like
It's some
anybody else. I mean, it comes up when you talk about, well, for me, when you talk about food and stuff, or
Yeah,
anything, you know? Like
I'm not saying every time you didn't have a reason to say it. Sometimes you didn't, but like
sometimes you didn't.
sometimes.
Hey, what'd you do yesterday, vegan?
What'd you do yesterday? Well, as a vegan,
As a vegan, I jerked it for 16 hours and then Zootopia porn.
yeah, I jerked it, and
That's
then
also a
I
reference
questioned
to
tasting
this
it.
show. That didn't just
Yeah,
come out of nowhere. There's
is
a
Zootopia
reference
porn?
to physically touching yourself to Zootopia porn by one of the
Yeah,
main characters. So
yeah.
we're just gonna skip right over that though. That doesn't matter. It's not pertinent, much like anything else in the story of this show.
And this is when our cliche boy decides that she should bully the vegan. And they
Yeah,
get in a fight, and it's live streamed, and
I
then she
shot
goes home
Bambi.
crying.
It was awesome.
Yeah. She starts crying, and the dad is trying to be a decent dad, but like
No, he's
he
not.
works a lot. He is in the beginning.
They tried calling him. He didn't answer his phone. I was working. You know, they come storming in the house. By the way, we're not skipping over anything. This is literally how the show is edited. They
No,
just.
I think he is trying, but he just like doesn't know. Like he is trying to work too,
Yeah, I mean,
and
I'm not saying he's a
teenage
bad dad. I'm
girl.
just saying, he's not.
I mean, he is a bad dad, and he flexes his power a lot, but we haven't got to that yet.
No, we gotta skip ahead. Fuck, I don't know, like 4 minutes. Another poor edit. They go back to school after
Yeah.
going home and crying, and then it just it
Well, she's like, punch her
cuts
in the fucking tit.
to the next day. Yeah. Well, she does say that. You used to be like a badass, you know? You watch somebody
You
pick
that
on a
frog story.
fourth grader and you broke his leg, and she's like, I don't want to do that anymore. And she's like, you gotta punch her in the tit. But
She's
so the
like, you
next
that
day at
frog
school,
story in science class. What happened to that girl?
she doesn't
I just
punch her in the
I
tit. She decides to,
apologize.
be a decent
And
human and say that she's sorry and it was her fault when it wasn't, but she's being the bigger person. And you know, typical bully bitch is just like, oh yeah, suck burrito, and smashes her gigantic oversized Chipotle into this girl's face.
it has eggs, and I think I saw bacon in there. So that was like a dig. I was like,
Yeah, you know,
fuck you, vegan.
yeah, the biggest fuck you to vegans is shoving bacon and eggs in their face. By the way, that happens to almost every vegan. It's like a rite of passage for being one, is that somebody will put a piece of bacon into your face and say, "What do you think about that?" You're just like,
I thought it was taking a shot in the mouth,
I don't
but
know. I thought I
whatever.
was taking a shot in the mouth. Is that a double entendre? Oh man.
Okay.
So the sister, well, I mean, I'm just gonna spoil it right out the gate because who fucking cares? I'm not gonna try to allude
We
to who
do.
did it.
We have to do no, we're gonna allude to
Um,
it because
I already ruined it. I
this
already
is a
said the sister
mystery.
did it. It's not even a good
Shush.
mystery.
It's a mystery,
The
and we
bully
are
is in
not
the
gonna spoil
bathroom
it
on the toilet, and the raccoon mascot breaks the door open and bashes her in the face with a rock.
once.
Mm-hmm.
Just a quick smack.
Yeah, just a heavy slap. Girl doesn't even look like she got hit with anything later.
No, she doesn't.
You see her in the
But
principal's office with her dad
she
yelling at
automatically thinks it's the girl that
Billy.
bullied her. I mean, she automatically thinks it's the girl that she bullied. So automatically you know that she's like, she knows what she's doing is wrong and knows that it's gonna piss somebody off.
Yeah, I mean, retaliation is imminent when you you can't just a beat somebody down while being filmed in the cafeteria and then smash a burrito into their face in front of the entire school and think, you know what? Nothing's gonna happen to me for this. I'm gonna be all right. No, you're not. You're not gonna be okay. It's not okay to be a bully. You might not
So
get smacked right in the face right when it happens, but you're gonna get lit up at some point. You never know. You could go home, be tucked into bed, and then The light turns on in the corner, and
And a raccoon pops out of nowhere.
yeah, you just
You could
soap
be
in
like
a
taking a shit
pillowcase.
in a public bathroom.
You know, you get private piled, just going down. So anyway, back to the principal's office.
Yeah, they call the parents in and ask like, all right, so the bully's dad comes in and decides to like try to flex and be all tough and shit,
Yeah, I'm
which
calling the
I
police. We
understand
pressing
why.
charges.
Yeah, fuck you. And then I don't know, for some reason I could understand why the other like the the other kid's parent was getting defensive. He didn't even ask her before he decided to defend her though, if she did it or not. He was just like, first of all, I'm higher ranked than you. I could get you blacklisted. And if you want to start shit, we could really do this. And goes, well, what if she did do it? And he just turns and goes, well, did you do it? He goes through this whole long spill about how he's going to get this dude blacklisted for
Hey,
threatening
Albert
his daughter
Wesker came
for
in there like
something.
a boss dad. All right, I'm not gonna lie. If I was in his possession, I would have flexed like that too. I would have been
Yeah,
like, you
but
know what? How many people can do your job? 1,000, 10,000.
yeah, but
You know
first
how
of
many
all, you
people
should
can do
find
my
out if your
job?
kid is fucking innocent
One.
before you fucking like stand up.
Me. So what do you think happens if I tell Umbrella that, I quit unless they fire you? No, I misspoke. I don't want you fired. I want you blacklisted. I don't want Google to hire you. I don't want Apple taking your resume. I want Pornhub to shred your resume. I was like,
Right?
damn, just name dropping
Yeah, he was
Pornhub, huh?
fucking all out. But like, what if she was guilty? What if she did do it? That's just a dick move. And he doesn't know.
I don't think he cared.
He doesn't care. That's what the point is
You
like
know,
he didn't give a fuck. He cared more about like flexing his shit than defending his kid. It was more of a
I think
I'm
he knew that
I'm
she didn't do it though. You know,
hmm,
you
well,
kind of
she is
you
though.
kind of know.
I don't know. I mean, she does
Besides,
have
there
a
was
past.
the video. I mean, he even brings it up right after that. After he asks if she did it, and she's like, no. And he says, you know what? I believe her. Any parent's going to say
Yeah,
that first off. They're always going to believe their
yeah,
kid. But then he brings up the fact that there's video of the other girl bullying his daughter and shit. And he's like, so you need to apologize to her. And, are we good? And he's not like, so is this situation resolved amicably? Are we good?
right. Which I understand. It's just more the flexing part that I was like, oh, like you could have just been like
Everything he
intimidating
said
as
was a
fuck
flex.
without that.
Just
It was, but he could have been intimidating without that. Just like, are we good? What if they already knew who he was? That would have been better writing. Like they go, oh shit,
well,
instead of him
he
having
did.
to go like,
The other guy knew who he was as soon as he walked in, and they announced it. They didn't know who the girl was. He knew who Wesker was. But
yeah,
when they said Albert Wesker, the guy goes, Wesker shit. Like
yeah,
he
but
knew
it
that
was
he
like,
had messed up as soon as his name was said.
yeah, but you still had to go like, do you know how many people could do my job and shit like that?
Well, yeah,
How many
you gotta
people
fuck, you gotta flex.
you don't? That scene could have been so much shorter. Him walking in, them going, fuck,
Cut.
and them going, and then him going, are we done?
Yeah, he just walks in. The other guy goes shit, and he goes, "We done here?" Like the beginning of Scary Movie 2, James Woods, when
Yeah,
he walks in on the exorcism, they had so many lines for James Woods to deliver, and he kept going through them. They didn't like any take. And James goes, it's not it's not me, it's the dialogue. And they're like, what's wrong with it? He's like, it's terrible. It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. You're not gonna walk into this situation and deliver one of these, 3 sentence long fucking retorts or something. And they go, well, why don't you just do a take and just say whatever comes to your mind, whatever feels right. And James Wood walks in and goes, fuck this, and walks right back out of the room. And that's the take they went with because it fits. And Yeah, I mean, I would agree that if they did go that route and just had him walk in and the other dad goes, shit. And they're like, we good here? And it just cuts.
Or like,
That would have
should
been
still made
hilarious.
no, he should have walked in, and then the dad goes shit, and he was like, I saw this video of her picking on my daughter,
Slapping her
and
around on the
I
floor.
think the apologizing thing should have still happened.
Yeah, I mean, I
But
liked the whole
then it would
scene.
have
I'm not
been,
gonna lie. I think that was one of the few scenes that I liked in. I wish I could say the first episode, but I'm gonna have to go with the entire show.
I don't know, I wish that just that one part was cut. The him flexing and just walks in and goes, and
Nope.
the dad going, fuck, and then going, I saw videos of this girl picking on my daughter, and I think she should apologize. And the daughter's like, what? And then the dad's like, do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Instead of already like, then you don't have like this little bit of mystery of who this character is because the the dad knows. And then instead of having to like threaten his job or anything, you could already think like this dude is known already, and it's like fuck. And the daughter would absolutely not know what the fuck was going on because her dad was telling her to apologize without any fucking like thing said to him. It was just he was brought down just by the presence of this dude without threatening his entire existence.
I mean, honestly, I can't disagree with that. Thinking, but this show was obviously written for 14-year-old girls that have never played, read, seen, heard of Resident Evil. Um, so yeah.
No, it has nothing to do with Resident Evil. I'm not saying just because I know who Wesker is, it would be more amusing for me.
No, I'm just saying
It
the
just
way
makes me.
that the dialogue is written, you know, it's very teen drama. There
It
is
is,
there's nothing through
and it doesn't change.
through the entirety of the show, the whole 8 episode series run. There is nothing horror about the entire show.
Think there'll
Nothing
be a season
remotely
two.
scary. There's a mildly intense situation later in this episode where, well, I guess we'll talk about what happens right now, and then I'll finish what I was going to say. So after that situation, Billy is mad at Jade for hitting the bully in the face with the rock. There's a little tiff. Jade comes to her room that night to apologize, and Billy had just been on a.
We skipped something. We skipped the fact that he told
We're not
the
skipping anything.
fucking principal
She gets a
that,
day off.
what,
I'm
she's
not
gonna
skipping
take a
it.
day
I
off.
was going to bring it up right now. I was leading into it. So Billy got the day off because of that whole bully situation. So while she was on her little vacay, she went to lunch with her dad, which you don't even get to see. It just shows her seeing some bunnies because,
Yeah.
it's just a foreshadowing tool. And then he's like,
What a
cafeteria's this way. And then it cuts to them at home again. And to reiterate, the cuts in this fucking show are terrible in every episode. They just bounce from shit to shit. Anyway, right? So she tells Jade about the bunnies and the animal testing she thinks is going on at the Umbrella Labs and just decides, we're going to do something about this. We're going to break into the lab, we're going to get proof of the animal testing, and we're going to leak it because why not? Well, while they're at the
fuck.
labs, they unleash a zombified dog that attacks them. And that is the only mildly intense And when I say mildly, I mean like Taco Bell mild sauce, mildly. It is borderline water of the entire series. There's nothing even remotely close to that level of intensity for the rest of it. It's
And that's just because it was like topping fucking Jurassic Park.
yeah, they literally steal Jurassic Park during the
The
dog
scene
attack.
twice. The same scene twice.
Yeah, the raptor attack on the two kids in Jurassic Park, it's almost completely recreated with these two and a zombie dog. Except for the part
Twice.
where bully where Billy gets chomped on by a zombie dog.
Spoilers.
Oh yeah, big old spoilers. I said I was gonna spoil it. I don't care, man. Nobody's watching this show. Everybody hated it. it got torn apart on the internet. This show is getting
Got torn
canceled.
apart like her sister.
I promise you, this does not get a second season. And if it
It
does,
might.
it will only be because people beg them to do a second season, make it actually horror, and stop writing a teen drama. It it sh- it should have been a horror series. Like
First of all, people like Twilight, and
I am one of the people that like Twilight, thank you, and I hated this. And not because it wasn't, your typical Resident Evil. The spins they've done on Resident Evil as far as live action and Netflix in general have just been awful as far as true to the source material or story that's already set in stone, Like I don't get it. I thought Halo was bad because
I haven't seen that
they did nothing with the source material. Cowboy Bebop got ruined by Netflix. There are so many things that have working stories and
yet. I did like
lore.
something from Cowboy Bebop though.
I liked a few things from Cowboy Bebop, but
I liked how they recreated the opening sequence with the actor.
yeah, no, that would. You know what's messed up about that? When I saw that, I thought, you know what? This is gonna be great. This is gonna take off. They're gonna do like shot for shots of some of the animated stuff, and it's gonna be
It is
fabulous.
so fucking good with the opening sequence.
And then you're just like, oh, I lied. Um, but that's not the reason that I didn't like this show because I mean they tried to take the source characters for the Mila Jovovich movies and the one was good. I didn't hate that. There were no original characters in that. And two was okay,
Okay.
even though they brought in OGs from the games and kind of butchered the characters, but the movie
Oh
still
yeah.
worked. It was all right. And it wasn't
Yeah.
bad, there were horror elements still. And then three, three was good. They just kind of I don't know. They did their own thing, and I can appreciate that. I guess. Um, Welcome to
Well, this
Raccoon
is it.
City to bring that back up. That I I had really high hopes for it when I heard that it was being done, and I saw test
The
shots
trailer.
of locations. No, not the. When I saw the trailer, I knew the movie was going to be shit. I think there's
Is it
actually a
live
tweet
action?
from me that says, "Oh my god, this is going to be so fucking bad." Um,
Is it live action?
yes, it is.
Oh.
It's it's awful. It's horrible. It was so bad. It it was so bad. And I feel bad for anybody that worked on it, Robbie Amell and the other people that I don't know that were in it. The guy that played Wesker, I can't remember his name, but I know him from other stuff. Um it's trash. It's so bad. The guy that plays William Birkin, I know that actor. Can't think of his name right now. It's so bad. So bad. I can't say it enough. And then they Netflix already tried to do an animated series, which was absolutely awful. Like I had high hopes for that because every animated Resident Evil movie is phenomenal. It's fantastic. I love them. They're really good. Both story, the voice acting, the animation, everything perfect. Netflix takes a hold of the property and puts out their animated series and it's hot garbage. The animation is bad. There's a scene where a character is like walking in place like they didn't know how to animate a character walking. And they butcher the characters themselves, like Claire Redfield from the Resident Evil 2 game, Code Veronica X, several Resident Evil properties, is a total badass. Like, she's a go getter. She can fight. She stands her ground. She is amazing. And they make her a plot device, a total weakling. And it's not like this is an introduction to her either. This takes place after the games. So she should have been a badass. But instead, they're just like, you know what? Claire's kind of weak. We're just going to butcher her character completely. That totally pissed me off. They butchered everything else too. TV series was shit. It was my first, like, Netflix is going to fuck this up moment, was watching that series. I had no hope. And then they put out this series. And I'm not gonna lie, I saw the trailer and I had hope for the show. I saw the downtown New York City, like Times Square billboard. So I don't know if you've seen any of these, but Times Square put up this insane billboard unit that does things in 3D, and it looks so amazing for everything that they do. And they had a Resident Evil spot for the release of this show. And it is the coolest thing ever. It actually might be the only good thing that came out of this show happening is
Really?
the Times Square billboard. It's badass. I'll try to link a video of it in the Discord so you can watch it because it's
All right.
super fucking cool. Or you could Google it. I don't know, but yeah, it was badass. But then the show happens, and I don't know, man. Like, it's not a problem that they didn't use any of the core characters from the games other than Wesker. And the way that they twist the use of Wesker, not mad at it at all. I'm not one of those guys that Wesker was white. Who gives a shit? Like I don't like when people do that. A character's a character. They can be whatever they want to be. They could have made Albert Wesker Alberto Wesker, and I wouldn't have given a shit. A black woman, a fucking black woman that's 3'2". I don't care. Like, just get the shit right. I don't care what you cast the character as far as race, nationality, build, physicality. It doesn't matter to me. I don't give a shit. It could have been a cocker spaniel with a jetpack. Whatever. Just give them good dialogue. Make the show great. They did
How's
neither.
the Cocker Spaniel gonna have dialogue?
you know, I don't know, but Cosmo did in Guardians of the Galaxy, the
That's
game.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Anyway, right? It's the writing for me. It's the
Oh
editing,
yeah,
the cutting from scene to scene, from past to future, even like the present in their present, I guess I should say it's not the future, the past to their present day. Like even when it's present to present, the way they cut from stuff to other things is I don't know, it just feels stupid to me. They're all hard cuts. There's no segue that makes any sense between anything. It's I think it was really poorly done. I can't wait to do every single episode of this show.
it's basically a CW series.
Yes, except for Arrow. Admittedly,
except for
it's
the Flash.
just like Arrow and the Flash and everything else, but I liked Arrow and the Flash, and those also aren't horror movies. And Arrow
I only like
had
Flash.
such good hand-to-hand combat scenes. Like I've watched the training videos of them like rehearsing that stuff, and man, they really nail it if you go back and watch. I'm
I
sorry, I'm
think the
fanboying
Flash
over
is
Arrow. I
less.
loved Arrow.
I disliked Arrow, and I think the Flash is less CW than like anything else on CW.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
To be
Arrow was
fair,
less CWE than anything on the CW at the time. All they had up to Arrow was Smallville, and I don't even know if Smallville started on the CW.
brother, WB, which turned into CW, so technically,
Right,
but
right,
no,
exactly. But Arrow started
basically
it, and then
Arrow
they made the
is
Flash.
Vampire Diaries with
Shut
uh
up.
superheroes,
But I mean, Vampire Diaries is scarier than this show.
and the Flash kind of expanded on like we don't want to be that shit no more,
Yeah,
and
they
did decent. But Arrow is
created the
basically
Arrowverse
CW with
is what
costumes.
happened and what it got
Yeah,
called.
yeah, the Arrowverse. But
Because yeah, you had Arrow, and
Arrow
then
itself,
the Flash happened, and then they did
they picked
Supergirl,
good
Legends of
actor. They
Tomorrow.
picked a good actor to be Arrow.
Yeah, Stephen
This
Amell killed that
show
role. He was
itself,
fantastic. Same with Grant Gustin as Barry Allen. I loved that.
yeah,
I thought he was
this show
a
was
great Flash.
Arrow. The best Arrow episode was the introduction of the Flash, and but that's a different story. And but basically, Arrow is CW cliche, but
Man,
with tights.
that made me want to say something about this show because you would hope that the best moment of this series would be the introduction of a core character of any kind other than Albert Wesker. Um, but
We
I
got the
can't
very hungry capitalist.
I can't wait to keep on going through this series
This is the Eric Carl verse.
so that you can see some of the introductions of characters just to never see them again. I hate I hate to spoil the fun and you know the hope that let's just
Fun.
be honest, you don't have any hope that this show is going to get better. It's not
Do
there
I don't? How do you know?
because I already ruined it. It doesn't get better. It's a it's calling it a tragedy. It is a spit in the face of any Resident Evil fan in terms of story, horror elements, just dialogue. I mean, unless you go back to the original PlayStation games where the dialogue was absolute trash, in which case this is a mile ahead of that. Just one. Not 1,000 miles, just one. They just took one small leap forward and were like, yes. Punch that in. That's a keeper. Oh man, I feel
But
really
yeah, this,
bad for
you're ripping on this, and you usually don't.
yeah, I'm shitting all over it, which is why I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say right now because I I feel the need
You're taking my job.
to express my sadness and appreciation at the same time. So I feel bad for the actors that, for the most part, do a great job with their dialogue and portraying the characters that they were supposed to portray the way they wanted them to be portrayed. The digital artists that do a lot of the CGI and stuff, their work was great. For the most part, there are some things, but it's neither here nor there. It's not big enough to shit on them. They did a great job. Uh, and then the makeup artists, the countless makeup artists that were probably needed to do the zombie effects and stuff, and then the extras that were used to be zombies. Like they all deserve praise. This the show had a great team behind it on camera, and everybody behind camera just phoned it in and was like, you know what? Fuck Resident Evil. It's somebody that still hasn't beaten Resident Evil 2. Guaranteed. They were like, you know what? I hate this video game
One.
series because I couldn't beat the game and I don't like the fans of the series, so I'm going to make this show CW's 100.
Oh
Like,
wait, I want to go back to when she's talking to her daughter. We skipped like wait,
talking to her daughter.
you remember when in the her paint voice chat?
Oh, the sat phone that I was commenting how she didn't have internet and was using Microsoft Paint right at the beginning.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
want to go back to that because she's talking to her daughter. It's what her daughter's birthday, right? And they're gonna show the presents, and the dad gets her the complete
Works of
William
William
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
And this surprises the mom because the last time she saw the kid was still working their way through the time quintet
Is that what she
or
says?
no, it's the Wrinkle in Time, but the series is. I'm guessing the kid read the series before going on to, because it's the time quintet. So that is more
Yeah, which by the way is like
it- it's a more deep,
I'd be
difficult
more
read than William
surprised.
Shakespeare.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'd be more surprised if it was the other way around. You know, like she was
Yeah,
reading Hamlet and then she read that,
yeah,
not
that's
the
kind
other
of
way
what
around.
it
Last time I was there, she was basically reading Othello, and now she's reading this. Like, yeah,
she
not we
she
were
was
reading A Wrinkle in Time, and now she's reading
Shakespeare.
Romeo and Juliet. Like, yeah, I read Romeo and Juliet in second or third grade.
Yeah, and I'm guessing the kid read the whole like time quintet. So that's like what, 5 books?
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So I'm not gonna list all the titles or anything. I read them like a long time ago. They're a little bit harder to
Yeah, I didn't even catch
stick
that.
with.
I was so hung up on the whole fucking I'm making a phone call in Microsoft Paint thing that I didn't even pay attention to the books that she was talking about her reading.
Oh, I didn't say the time quintet.
Yeah, I know,
Quintet.
but they
It
said A
was
Wrinkle in Time, so
yeah,
which is still
and
heavier
it
in
was
subject matter than you know.
Shakespeare, and it's the complete Shakespeare.
And she hasn't even read it yet. She just got it.
Yeah, that was 6 months ago. Well, that's what the dad says. Is
Yeah,
that was 6 months ago,
yeah. 6 months ago, she read A Wrinkle in Time. Of course, we're gonna move
and
on to
now
Shakespeare.
she's moved up to Shakespeare.
Yeah, and
I
again, to reiterate, she's getting that book that day. It's not like he said in 6 months she has read and understood the entire works of William Shakespeare, which
yeah,
I think is what, 9, 14,
914.
somewhere between 9 and 14 different literary works, I think.
Into quite a bit of plays and shit.
Yeah, but I mean,
But you're telling me a novel is harder or easier to read than a fucking play?
yeah, which I mean, well, there are the novella versions of the works of Shakespeare.
That's not what she's reading. She's reading the complete works, which are plays.
Yes. I mean, yeah, I guess.
I mean, I'm not a big Shakespeare fan, so maybe I'm just being like, it's not.
I was a big
You're telling me
Shakespeare
that's
fan
a step up.
um as a kid. Like pre fifth grade, I read a lot of Shakespeare.
Well, yeah. I mean, I read it. I mean, kind of had to. I mean, some of the best Akira Kurosawa movies are based off of Shakespeare.
Oh, damn, I was so far off. The complete works of William Shakespeare includes 37 plays,
Yeah.
160 sonnets, and 5 poetry books.
Hmm.
5 poetry books, not 5 poems.
And
So,
I think what they were trying to say is because Wrinkle of Time is a novel and this is the complete works.
yeah.
But you
Again,
have
she
to
didn't
realize
read
how
it
much.
in those 6 months. They're just giving it to her.
But one's a novel. You would expect in the 6 months she read the rest of the five novels within the time set.
Absolutely.
And then William Shakespeare, which is basically going to be a little bit of action and dialogue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of substance in Shakespeare.
There is, but I'm saying like reading wise.
Yeah, and again, it's not like she already read it. It's just being given to her. I don't think it'd be that surprising that she's moving on to another book that has words. Like,
And I don't think it's that much of like a progression
it's not
though.
like the
That's
mom
my
was
problem.
like 6 months ago she was reading See Spot Run. What do you mean you're giving her the complete works of Shakespeare?
Yeah, it's like her going like, oh, she was reading that, and now she's reading and understanding the entire Divine Comedy.
There's 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 so much to unpack in every single one of these episodes that is just wrong.
Like, I'm not a big fan of Shakespeare, so maybe I'm just like, there's not that much to it. But I mean, I know there is, but like a full novel is a little bit harder to read for someone learning to read than a play, where it's
Yeah.
more spaced out.
Well, I mean,
It's
you have 3 acts.
yeah,
Actually, I think I don't know. I think Romeo and Juliet has 5 acts.
yeah, but it's mostly
It's been a long
Romeo
time.
did this, and then he says this. It's mostly monologue, so it's dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, well,
Well, there's
there's
a little
monologues,
bit
there's
like
dialogues,
action.
there's you know, there's a lot, but it's not. I mean, if we had to break it down into pages and words per page, I don't know. Romeo and Juliet, if I had to guess, 360 pages, double spaced.
Yeah, the double space.
you know, I don't know, but A Wrinkle in Time, if I had
Like
to
what,
try to remember,
400?
768
Is it
pages.
that much?
Hold on, I'm gonna Google that because I'm actually curious.
And I know it's not a like something we should harp on, but like don't think Shakespeare is this.
Well, we already did harp on it, and I get it because her being surprised about that is a little weird. 416. So I was way off on that. Is it really only 416 in A Wrinkle in Time?
That's what I said, right? What did I say? Whatever, it doesn't matter. But Romeo and Juliet's probably what, 200 pages?
Romeo and Juliet
If you
is
count just one.
136.
Okay. So if you count like 30 of those, it's a long book. I'm not saying it's like not a lengthy volume of work. It's just
The age range. Hold on, this is hilarious. The age range recommended for people to read Romeo and Juliet: 3 months to 1 year. I don't know
okay.
who,
And with Wrinkle of Time,
I don't know who wrote that, but let me tell you, no 3-month-old or 1-year old is reading Romeo and Juliet.
I don't know.
Recommended age for, okay, there isn't a recommended, wait, let me 5 more rows. There's not a recommended age listed for A Wrinkle in Time right on the main page.
Okay, well, it is a children's chapter book, so I'm gonna say, um, elementary school, maybe sixth grade-ish, at the most. One of the best Disney movies is based off of fucking
10 to 14
Shakespeare.
years.
Huh?
10 to 14 years is the recommended age range for the book. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, back to what you were saying to put what we're trying to say about it into context. She's surprised that her daughter is moving from something age range 10 to 14 onto something age range 3 months to 1 year.
Let's not do the 3 months to 1 year. We know that's not right.
I know that
But
doesn't make any sense, but it's what it says, which is hilarious because there's no way that's right. I mean, that's
well, you're gonna have a bunch of people going, I read Shakespeare when I was in high school. And it was because you had to read Shakespeare in high school.
yeah, essentially guaranteed. I mean, I read a few of the works of Shakespeare. Uh, the first time I had to read Romeo and Juliet, I was in, I don't know, like, actually, no. The first time I had to read Romeo and Juliet, I was in ninth grade. The first time I read any Shakespeare, I was in fourth or fifth grade. Fourth grade.
Yeah, well, it sounds about the same.
So,
I was a Kurosawa fan, and I knew that a lot of his movies were based off of Shakespeare, so it ended up bringing me to Shakespeare a little earlier than we had to read in school. Plus, Lion King is Hamlet.
Lion King, um, damn, what was the name of that movie? The one that they stole for the Lion
The
King.
Northman,
Fuck no. um, no, the
the live
Japanese
action Lion King.
the Japanese movie that is shot for shot
Oh,
stolen and turned into the Lion King.
Kimba.
Kimba. Yes,
Kimba the
Kimba.
White Lion.
Kimba was based on Shakespeare. The Lion King was just plagiarized. And anybody that's ever seen,
Yeah.
heard
I mean,
of
even like,
Kimba, it's check that out because it's totally stolen. It's totally stolen.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty close, but you could also just say they're based off the same play and have lions.
I mean, you could say that, but I mean, one was animated and created first, and the other one is like a direct replica of it.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I'm not saying I disagree with you.
it's like me making a movie called Nancy, and it's a shot for shot remake of Cinderella. Just her name is Nancy. It's actually a
No, I
really good
think you would
idea.
just have to change the if you're remaking Cinderella in the style of Lion King and Kimba, you would just have to change the C to some other letter.
Ooh, good call. Good call. Make it an S.
Yeah, Cinderella.
Cinderella. Cinderella.
Cinderella.
Oh
Stripperella.
man. All right.
Starring Pamela Anderson.
Just totally rewind back to this you know, the conclusion, the dramatic, powerful conclusion of it's not dramatic or powerful. The first episode of Resident Evil. So Jade, the main character number one. Uh,
She wakes up on a nice comfy bed, not chained to anything,
yeah, she wakes up in
access to the computers.
a free camp, and it's the guys that you know rescued her. Heavy use of quotations from hungry caterpillar.
Mhm.
They inform her that they called Umbrella because she's got a high bounty on her head. So Umbrella's
Well, they
coming.
didn't do that yet. Yeah, first of all, she's all like, "Where am I?" And then the guy comes in all nice and shit. He seems like a nice guy. He's just like,
Who
"Well, you're here,"
cares?
and she's like, "Where's my shit?" And he's like, "Well, we could go get that tomorrow." And she's like, "Well, I'm a strong, independent woman, and I don't need no man. I'm gonna go get my shit." And he's like, "Well, really, you can't." And then she's like, "Fuck you." And then he shows her that she physically can't because there's a shit ton of zombies
Yeah, they're
outside the
surrounded
wall.
by a horde of zombies, just hundreds
So
of
we
them.
have our strong female character that has absolutely no rational skills at all, which she didn't as a child either. So she has not matured fucking at all between these fucking like from adulthood, childhood to adulthood.
Again, I would like to point out that the writing is lazy and terrible. It's so bad.
So they do call Umbrella, and Umbrella shows up and is this like fat bearded dude
Whom I love,
who
by the way. Just gonna point that out. Guy's a real prick, but he's also like you'll like some of the shit with him in it. I guarantee it. He's kind of a dick.
I already like him. He like when he was like, there she is, and he's like, cool. And
Yeah.
then you know he took
And then he shoots the
you
dude
know
in
he
the
took
head. The guy that's
yeah,
like,
he
I'm gonna
took
get
courses in
paid.
cliche villainy,
He's like, bang. And then he just tells
but
everybody
he
else to
took the
start just
courses.
lacing everybody up with bullets.
He took courses in cliche villainy, but he pulls it off very
He's so
well.
good.
He made it his own.
He is not well written, and again, this is a testament to why I was apologizing earlier to the actors and actresses and everybody else on camera that had anything to do with this. This guy, you're handed a shittily written character, and you nail it. You you go with it. You're like, whatever, man, I got this, and he does. He's got it. He's
Right? He seems like what
he's
alright, you remember those old movies in the 90s where you had the really cliche villain that will kill their subordinates for making little mistakes,
Oh my
but you
god.
don't really like them.
I can't believe
But,
you
like,
just
he
said
would
those three words followed by those two words or three words. So a total grouping of six words. Those really old movies in the 90s. Seven words.
yeah, they are old if you compare it to, like, shit we're
Oh
watching
my
now.
god. Those really old movies. When people say
And
those really old movies, I still like as soon as you said those really old movies, in my head, I picture black and white.
I don't.
Like Aubrey Hepburn, Cary Grant. Like I start picturing movies that don't have color. And people now they're like, you know, them really old movies from 1996. I'm like, man. But
Well,
yes, I
yeah,
do know exactly what you're talking about. Where
but
like,
just I've seen all those movies that you're probably talking about now. I don't actually think the 90s movies are old. It's just like if you compare it now, they're fucking aged.
well, yeah,
They're
the methodology in them definitely, and the dialoguing and the filming techniques are definitely dated. If I see
the
movies on
skill.
TV, I can pick the decade in which it was made based on just
Exactly.
the framing of a scene and the dialogue.
Yeah. And this, alright, so it's been a cliche forever, the evil villain who will kill his own people because they make a simple mistake, and
Yeah, but this dude's
it's
not one of
like the
his
cliche
guys.
school.
Didn't make a mistake. He did what he
No,
was supposed to. Still get shot in the
but
face.
he took that course though.
Oh
Like
yeah.
he's
Yeah, you know what? He couldn't have been any more that guy had he been wearing like a fedora that matches his suit jacket.
and a fucking pencil mustache that he fucking twists.
Yeah. He should have just pulled out a Sharpie and drawn the mustache on. That would have been hilarious.
I'm surprised he didn't fucking tie him to a railroad track. Come on. And
Yep.
like he Well, the reason why I brought that up was because people have been trying to use that as a this is the bad guy in a very cliche way over and over again. None of those. most of them always just turn out like, you're doing that again. And this dude, you're just like,
He's
I
funny.
know that he's this dude, like I could see he's so nonchalantly like, yeah, we told you we're gonna pay you.
But instead, I'm gonna shoot you in the face and then kill everybody else that's here with you. Which, bringing me back to my whole wrap up of this episode of the show.
We're getting to the jumping off point of the series.
Yeah, the jump off, literally. The Jade, the main character Jade, is running, trying to escape. There's nowhere to go, as alluded to a minute ago.
Yeah,
And this guy's like, your sister's looking for you. Which is like, how? Because she died. Because she didn't.
dun dun
But,
dun.
um, yeah. So then Jade's like, you know
But
what?
she doesn't want
I'm
to
on
see her
top
fucking
of a
sister. She's like,
fucking
fuck
five
my sister.
story wall. This shit's easily 50 feet off the ground. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to run and jump off of it. So the episode ends with her like flying through the air, jumping off of this 50-foot wall that goes down to
Onto the
a
ground. It's
dirt
not like it's water
fucking
or anything.
floor just swarmed with zombies.
Right, it's enough to break your fucking legs and then you get eaten by a shit ton
Your
of zombies.
legs, your ribs, your arms, like you're breaking at least. I mean, from I think 27 feet ish. There's a probability of you breaking an ankle if you land on your feet, or severely
Yeah.
bruising bones and tissue if you land on your side and shit. Right?
Mm-hmm.
From 50 feet, that's a guarantee breakage of your knees, your feet, or dislodging a hip if you land on your feet, or breaking your shoulder, your arm, your wrist, all of that shit if you land on your side. Like there's damage, and I hate to fucking spoil it, so I won't, but we'll see what happens to Jade in the next episode.
So I haven't seen the next episode, so I'm gonna make my predictions. You don't have to tell me I'm right or wrong.
I won't. I'm not gonna say anything.
So in order for her to survive, some serious things had to happen with that fall. So I think the Eagles came in from Lord of the Rings and picked her up
I
and
mean,
then took her to another location. And then she meets Gandalf and they decide to Charlie.
she
And
slips
then
the
they
ring
decide
on
to
and just disappears. End of series.
yeah. Well, no, then Gandalf's like, "What are you doing here? What is your story?" And then we have to see all those flashbacks all over again because we're going with book Gandalf, not movie Gandalf.
Yeah.
So then we also have to hear how Gandalf got to the zombie apocalypse. So we have to hear his story and flashback as well. But we don't really get flashbacks. It's just talking. And then they sing a
Weird.
song. And then they go and talk to Bilbo a little bit. I don't know why Bilbo's still alive because we know Bilbo's dead. But Bilbo's there and he's like, you know what, lady? You're kind of tall and I like you. I'm a little bit old, but I'll give you my ring that's been destroyed. See, can't give her the ring because it's been destroyed. But he gives her another ring and they get married. And then she sucks off a hobbit. And
To
oh, wait,
Zootopia.
shit, we're forgetting about the zombies.
Oh my god, yeah, there were zombies there. But hold that thought. I'm liking where this is headed, but I have to piss. So we're gonna take a fucking little 2 minute breather so I can do that really quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right, I'm back. All right, I really didn't mean to throw off your groove on that whole Hobbit mashup with Resident Evil,
Yeah. Well,
but I had to piss
and then
so
too,
bad for the last like 30 minutes. I couldn't hold it
I
anymore.
did too. It's a good thing we have editing, right?
Yep, I'll just.
Actually, I'm just gonna leave it full, like not edited. I'll have to listen to our piss break.
I should have brought. If my mic was wireless, I would have brought it into the bathroom. I could. You know what? I'll just add a sound effect and some
Nah,
like.
we'll edit it. Nah, we'll edit. We'll actually edit it, but like, hold on, let me pour me a drink. Where were we? Oh, we were talking about my predictions for the next episode, right?
I mean, we did, but let's just face it. It doesn't get better, and your prediction was way better than the show ever could amount to. So,
And then Bilbo will be standing over her, and she'll drop down to her knees, and she'll look up at Bilbo,
okay, we
and
have to.
she'll
No,
say,
no, no, no. We cut. I mean, we can get into that like off, off cast. We can't throw that in there. We can't be talking about just two dudes going at it with this. Okay, I just made hand motions. I'm gonna have to.
"Two dudes." Jay's not a wait. Is she a dude? Did
No,
we
there's a
did we
zombie
learn
bukkake
something new later
party.
on?
There was this whole thing that just you were talking about Bilbo and Gandalf being there, and I was like two dudes, Jade. You know,
Mm-mm.
one goes
Bilbo.
high,
I
one
mean,
goes low. See, now
Gandalf's
you got
gone.
me going. We gotta stop.
Gandalf's gone. She drops her knees and looks up at Bilbo, and she's like, "My sister might have been vegan, but I love the cock."
Yeah, and then it just cuts into the Who, like from the beginning of CSI Miami. Wow, and that's the beginning of episode 2.
Yeah. Well, so I know I'm probably wrong on that,
Yeah, you are.
and
She totally just fucking. I don't. I can't. I can't do it.
so
I
I'm
can't.
guessing. So since we're gonna like, I'm not cutting out the Hobbit suckfest, but I'll say like, I know that probably isn't what happened. She probably is some sort of like superhuman because of the blood test. Oh, that we forgot to talk about that her dad always did.
Nope.
No, she just actually lands and fucking walks away.
I wish I could say that that's not what happens.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
I wish I could. I wish I could tell you it's like a Mila Jovovich Resident Evil situation, but it's not at all. And I wish I could tell you that she lands and dies or takes any kind of damage, but
And you wish you could tell me she sucks off a hobbit.
yeah, I mean, might as well. She fucking sticks that landing and just rolls out. She's
She a
just like,
fucking elf. She does look elfish.
just like, all right, whatever. I'm out. I'm done with this.
She does look like rings of
Really
power
makes
elvish.
that dude that was like, you can't leave this place look like a dumb bitch, though. You know, he gets shot in the face and she just fucking jumps off the wall and leaves.
Right? She fucking jumps. It's not like she gets a ladder or anything.
No, she
There's
jumps.
no rope or anything. She like fucking jumps, lands on her feet. Does she do a superhero landing?
No, that she doesn't do. You know, so it's at least a little bit realistic. Not really. It's not realistic at all. It's terrible.
Does the music heighten when she hits the ground? She's like,
No, but speaking of music, that's another thing that makes this show a total CW show or just any other sitcom. Yeah, I had it's Netflix, so I had hopes, but they sprinkle in actual songs. There's not a score. They're like they just use fucking pop songs and shit. Although they did play Ghost.
yeah, they played Ghost. The bitch liked Ghost. And you know what? That made her. No, it didn't make her cool. But I like Ghost. So we had the same music choice.
And one of them's rocking a Guns N' Roses tee at one point in the series. There's some musical appreciation, but I mean, there's one song that I actually liked throughout the show, or maybe a couple, but at the beginning of the show, they've got this eerie little score, and you would think that, oh, they actually scored the show, but then again, you would also think, oh, they probably wrote this well. They did neither. It's just
No,
it's just so bad.
it's CW zombie show.
I don't know if like giving a rating for the first episode is necessary, but I mean, if you want to
Were
give
they actually trying to make a Resident Evil show, or did they write a zombie show and then like shoehorn fucking Umbrella Corp in it?
no, Netflix optioned and promoted their live action Resident Evil TV series 3 years ago. And I don't think they started filming until last year.
Or basically, they found an old script for a different zombie movie and was like,
Yeah, I'm
Resident Evil.
guessing when CW and WB started clearing house and making changes, they threw a bunch of shit out, and Netflix just grabbed everything they could, and they were like, you know what? Let's just put a guy in here named Albert Wesker and call this one Resident Evil.
Yeah, well, CW is like, we're doing superheroes now, not monsters. Sorry, Vampire Diary fans and originals and
Yeah. Also,
anything based
sorry
off of
to
fucking.
Swamp Thing.
Yeah,
Um,
that wasn't originally CW though.
I know they picked it up after DC Universe Online just went to shit,
Yeah,
and everybody saw that coming.
I did too, but that fucking show was great. But
It
no, I think
was.
CW was like, we're doing superheroes now, so we're not gonna do monsters anymore. Here's this old like zombie flick we were thinking about doing, and
Yeah, that
then
would that would make more sense, but I know that's not how it happened. I just I wish better for the Resident Evil series. This episode of our podcast, for the people that have watched this long, I love you. Um is better than this entire series. I'm I'm not just saying that either. Any podcast is better than this series. You could watch my cat take a shit and it's better than Resident Evil. And there are people online. There was one person on the Twitter that said, if you like the show, that should be fine. If you don't like the
hmm
show because you're a fan of Resident Evil, that's okay too. What's not okay is badgering people that said that they liked the show. And I just want to speak on that for one quick second and say that's absolutely correct. It's not okay to badger them. It is okay to tell them that they have no taste whatsoever. And then badger the people that made the show. Because Resident Evil fans of all walks and all levels, whether you just started playing Resident Evil when they started doing the remakes, or whether you found it when Resident Evil 7 or Village came out, or if you're me and you've been playing Resident Evil since PlayStation when Resident Evil came out, or
yeah,
Resident Evil Director's Cut, or Resident Evil 2, or Resident Evil 3, or Code Veronica X, or Outbreak File 1, Outbreak File
or
2.
GameCube.
Yeah, or the GameCube re-releases, the HD remake that still lives on to this day of Resident Evil on the GameCube is one of the best there is. There was so much added to that. They eliminated nothing. They bettered so much. I don't want to start talking about the games. I'll go forever talking about the games. But
Well, I would like to say that you're right. It's not okay to badger people that actually like it. People like different things.
yeah.
Like, just because we disagree doesn't mean
Yeah,
your
you shouldn't
opinion.
jump on them
That
just
doesn't mean
cuz
you don't.
they don't like it.
I mean, it's not because they have no like taste in movies. They might just like that style. Like, there's a bunch of people that like CW,
Yeah. I mean, I
and there's
like some of
a
the
bunch of people.
CW shows, you know?
Yeah, one or two are fine, and
Yeah,
it's and people like Twilight and
quit bringing up
anything
Twilight,
that
man. Team fucking Edward.
yeah. If we really want to go into the glorification of the
Oh,
fucking controlling, we can, but I don't think that's a good
he
idea. But
glitters. You're fucking kidding me.
he glitters. I'm surprised the fucking zombies didn't glitter in this thing.
Oh my god.
And
That should have. Oh, I should do an edit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. Um, but yeah, yeah.
we'll do it.
Same,
We'll voice
same.
all the characters.
Totally in agreement on that. You know,
People like different things.
same
Some
page.
people,
Everybody has
I'm
their
sure there's
different
a romance
flavor of choice and shit.
later on in the series. Is there a romance later on in the series? I'm
Dude,
sure there is. And I'm sure it's a love triangle. It's just one of those things.
it's man.
It's Bilbo and Gandalf.
It's just totally ripped from the fucking pages of the CW handbook.
And Bilbo and Gandalf are
There
fighting over a
is a
kid.
romance and there is a love triangle of sorts, but it's not your typical, you know, they both want the
Not your
same
wizard and your
person.
hobbit.
It's more of one sister being mad at the other for having a romantic interest in somebody else.
Other than her?
Well, yes. In the
Really?
typical definition
Uh,
of romantic, which is to show and express love for someone else, not like an intimate sexual interest.
yeah. If there's a second season, there's probably some ancestral stuff.
Dude, the fucking cliffhanger at the end of the show is just so tragic. Like I really wish we could get into that. I can't wait to tackle that episode because I can unpack so much shit through this series in that last episode that you're like we're never going to get to see it. This show is getting canceled. Mark my words. The moment this gets uploaded, I'm the first person that's going to say it. I mean, it's July 18th at 2 o'clock in the morning right now. Timestamp that shit. Netflix is canceling Resident Evil. It's going to happen. Again, unless people urge them not to, but to make it the way they should have. It's a horror property. And I'm sorry that us horror fans are passionate, but like make it horror. There are so many different avenues and genres of horror. There are so many ways to go about it. This has none of them. None. Just because you have somebody being chased by zombies doesn't make it scary. Shaun of the Dead has people being chased by zombies. It's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. There's nothing
Yeah.
scary about that movie at all. They weren't
Well, the
going for
zombies are
scary.
intimidating in the movie.
It's just
Actually, the zombies in Shaun of the Dead are more intimidating than the movies are in this.
yeah, I get what
But
you're
I
saying.
think that's
They're more
mostly because
intimidating than zombies in this. And yeah, they are.
uh, and actually the characters are better. And I think Shaun of the Dead is a really good horror comedy. I mean, that's what it is. I
Yeah, it's
mean,
fantastic.
and actually there are scares. So you like to think that like it's not scary, it's hilarious, but it also like
It has
it
it has
would be a good horror
intensity,
movie
it
too.
has passion, like you care about the characters. I'm not gonna lie.
So I think it's unfair for you to say not a scary movie. Like it works as both. Like Evil Dead 2. It works as a horror movie and it works as a fucking hilarious
I
fun time.
I mean, yeah, you can loosely call them both horror comedies, but people only do that because they have typical like horror elements in them. Zombies or demons, stuff like that. But to me, they're just comedies. Like I wouldn't put the horror in there just because of the material that's in it. I mean, I don't know if
And
they
most
have to do that, but to me, there's nothing scary about either of those movies.
I wouldn't say scary, but I don't think most horror movies are scary anyway. So,
I mean, yeah, I could agree with that. I don't personally get scared by them, but
but like if you look at like Shaun of the Dead, that's a really good zombie movie
it's an amazing
that
zombie
happens to
movie.
be funny. That
It's
happens to be funny.
yeah, it's fantastic. Shaun of the
No,
Dead
I would put it
is
in the horror I would put it in the horror category too. And Evil Dead 2, yes, it gets a lot more campy than the first one. It's hilarious,
it is.
but
I mean, they went a different route with it, and I praise them for doing it. Evil Dead 2 is amazing. It's
so I would also consider that a horror flick with the comedy aspects to it. I think what most horror comedies do wrong is they are more comedies with horror elements, while the two examples that I made are horror movies with comedy,
yeah,
if that makes
I get what you're saying.
because
I feel
Shaun
like
of
it's
the
the
Dead
other
is
way
a
around
horror flick. Well,
for
I
them.
think Shaun of the Dead is a horror flick with comedy, and that was the point of it. It was
See, and I'm agreeing with
it's
what you're saying. I'm just saying that to me personally, I find Shaun of the Dead to be a comedy flick with horror elements. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Well,
Like
I think
I think
actually Shaun of the Dead I think has the perfect balance.
it
I think it's both
it's
evenly.
amazing. Edgar Wright can't do wrong in my mind. Like he can't. I don't know if you got to see Last Night in Soho yet. If you haven't, please watch that movie.
Not yet.
It was it was so damn good. At least I found it to be quite good. I like I said, I love Edgar Wright. I love everything he's ever done.
I actually have liked everything he's done too.
He actually won a
Hot Fuzz is
chainsaw
probably one
award
of my
for it at
favorites.
the Fangoria Awards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I I
For
I
Saho?
I tweeted him about it, congratulating him on his win of his chainsaw award for Last Night in Soho because the movie is absolutely magical. And he actually liked my tweet, and I was like, "Oh shit,
Sweet.
Edgar Wright liked my tweet." I felt just on top of the world in that moment.
So I think Shaun of the Dead was a good example.
It is a
I think
good
that's like a
balance.
perfect.
And
It's the perfect
and on that note,
balance. It has the comedy and it's in horror, but
segue
this,
that into this, which I mean, I get them wanting to do drama things. I like everything has to have its elements of drama, I guess, nowadays. I don't know why. I don't agree with it. It's just finding that balance, and
I
I
think
don't think this has.
I think everything has drama in it,
Well, you have to.
but
You
it's
have to have
this particular
conflict,
type of
like that's
drama.
the core
Yeah,
of any story. You have to.
it's this type of drama. It's
It's just the
teen
cheesy
W
teen
drama.
drama writing of it and stuff that just it's
Well, the young adult
it's
stuff
just
has been a craze.
yeah, this is again, I don't know who the target audience was for this because it's not
It's young adult.
fans of Resident Evil. It isn't.
No, it's young adult. Resident Evil.
It's
No, actually, it's a young adult zombie movie with shoehorned Resident Evil stuff in, and there already has been a young adult like zombie movie that worked pretty well. That Warm Bodies movie, I thought that did
dude, when you were
good.
saying it, that was the first thing that popped into my head. I loved Warm Bodies. I
I think they
absolutely
did a good job with it.
loved that movie, and it's totally a young adult zombie movie. That is like a fucking romance novel on the screen,
Yeah,
and it worked. It was so good. I haven't seen it since it
so
came out, but I saw that when it came out, and I loved it. I loved the idea of it, the premise. I thought it was
yeah,
great, and
I dug it.
I just the more I talk about things that are amazing where they actually found the balance and were able to achieve the things that they might have been going for when they did this, I'm just like I hate this even more because it gives references where they could have drawn from to make this work and still have it be palatable for people that like the Resident Evil fandom or the lore, just anything about it. And
So,
for me, it's worse because I'm thinking about the series as a whole, where you're just going based on the first episode, and I can promise you there is no good will come from this. It's
alright, so let's do some finishing thoughts. To me, this felt kind of like the fifth wave with zombies. Like it's young adulty, not very good shots, and it has zombies.
my finishing thoughts are it's an abomination to the fucking Resident Evil name, much like the last few things before it. As I said, the live action movie that was just done was horrendous. The animated series that came out on Netflix could have been an animated movie and it would have sucked just as hard, but you wouldn't have wasted 4 hours of your life. Um, they're just I don't know what they're doing, and it's not even just this. You know, I brought up Halo, and there's other things that they're adapting from
Netflix didn't
books,
do Hulu.
and
Halo,
Halo's on Paramount.
Paramount. Yeah,
Um,
is that, is
it's
that pretty
it's
bad
it's
too?
broad. It's not one studio doing it. They keep optioning things that have significant story and lore and all of this source material to draw from, and they're like, no, we're gonna badger the shit out of all of you, butcher the production, and just I wanted to just go
They're
on a
not just
cursing
making
rant.
movies and shows for the fans.
But they're not making them for anybody. I don't know who their target audience is because
CW fan
everybody has
girl.
hated it, like I can't say everybody, I guess, but the majority of people, like Halo just got dumped on by everybody, even people that never saw Halo. Resident Evil, the movie, the animated series on Netflix, both of them got shit on by people that know nothing about Resident Evil, and even more by people that know everything about Resident Evil. Like this series is just it's going down that route. It's a lot of bad choices made repeatedly. There's like they go into character development a little bit, and it's not awful. What makes that awful is the way they flip flop between past and present,
So
and
I'm guessing the
just
sisters are the cause of
no
the zombie
character
apocalypse.
growth. It's just like nobody matures over the
No, they
course
don't.
of fucking 14 years. And I'm not talking from like, it doesn't matter, a 14-year leap. We're not talking 0 to 14. We're talking 14
No,
year
she's
old
had a
girls
kid.
becoming
Like, she's
28.
had a kid
Yeah.
and got married.
There's there's a lot of things that I can't speak on right now because it's just the first episode. Um,
But I'm thinking they caused the zombie apocalypse, and because they let that dog out.
well,
So could this be like a prequel? Like, I know it goes beforehand and stuff like that. It could be like, but do you think they were attempting to make it more like a prequel to the game? And this is how the outbreak happened, and then like later on start introducing like
nope,
characters from the game?
nope,
I'm not talking about this season. I'm talking about
nope.
no.
Nope, there's found files and footage from Raccoon City, the original Raccoon City in the year 1998. They show up in the series.
So New Raccoon City is New Raccoon City.
Yeah, it actually takes place after Raccoon City was nuked.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So they start a new zombie apocalypse?
Yeah, yeah,
They didn't learn the first time.
no, no, not at all.
So we're meant to believe that Wesker was involved with all of those, like the games are like canon. So Wesker was this like douchebag who was
Oh
involved
yeah,
with the
no, the that everything in the video games is absolutely canon. Um,
and this is afterwards, and he goes and has two kids.
no, yeah, it'll touch on that. Oh, there's so much. There's so many things,
And then he
and
goes through like the skin changing process like in fucking Team America and goes and lives in New Raccoon City with his
America,
daughters.
fuck yeah. Oh man, see, like we're gonna watch the entirety of this. I'm gonna end up having to watch it all a second time just to do these episodes and talk about this stuff because it is bad, and everything that you would hope they could do with it, they can't. And everything you hope that they do pull off because of things that they show, they don't. And
Where's Wesker's sunglasses? You don't like them anymore?
oh man, I can't answer that, but you're gonna you oh man, you're gonna see some stuff. It's it's
So
so bad.
everything in the games has happened
Yep.
in real life within this series.
Yep.
Oh Jesus. And then Wesker escapes and has kids or test tube babies and moves
I can't spoil it. I can't
rebuilds
answer it.
and rebuilds Raccoon City, which is why it's all perfect and shit and Stepford Wives-ish,
I can't.
because it's New Raccoon City. No, no, I know you can't tell me. I'm making predictions now. Like, and then
Your predictions are better.
what do you mean they're better?
Not how
That
it
was like the
happens,
worst
man.
thing I could think of.
Yeah, I know. Yep, I know. I'm gonna.
Wait, so they just don't explain it.
Oh no, they
It's
do.
just
They go into it. You get to see Wesker, his sunglasses. There's a whole thing. It's leather
is it
trench
the same
coat.
Wesker?
He's got a high top fade.
Really? Like it's the same Wesker from the games, and then all of a sudden it's this new Wesker?
It's just he's black. That's the only difference.
Um, I wanted some sort of like that would have been like actually really smart since everything in the game happened. He goes and like changes the identity completely. He is now black, but he still uses his name Wesker because he still works for Umbrella Corp, which is back up and running after
Yep. Well, they never stopped running, even in the games and shit. After Raccoon City, 1998,
they're a bit more underground though.
they were.
This is like this is like right out in the open.
Oh yeah,
Does
wide
no
out
one
there.
remember fucking Umbrella Corp in the 90s?
I guess not. I guess an entire. Well, they do talk about the cover up of it all and stuff. Um, 1998. That was pre social media and all of that, so it is entirely
They
possible.
nuked the fucking town.
Yeah, they did, and think you would think that any bordering town would just be like, there's no way that was a gas leak. I've seen a nuclear
I
blast.
mean,
We learn about them in
bordering bord-
school.
bordering towns are probably dead too.
Oh man, it gets so bad. It's
Man, I would have been more okay with it being a fucking prequel.
yeah. I mean, I guess. Well, I can't say that because that would that'd be a spoiler for later in the show.
What, a prequel? So
No,
it's a prequel and a sequel?
no, it's definitely not a prequel. The past actually happened. It's there. It's done. I was gonna say I hope that. Well, I can't even hope because it's not gonna happen. The show is gonna. I'm I'm personally I'm not gonna be surprised if Netflix announces that the show has been canceled tomorrow. I mean, I am not gonna get this edited and put up tonight because I need to go to bed
Yeah.
fairly soon because I have to get up and do my stream in 8 hours. But it's gonna take me
They
like,
should add the Bilbo success, not make the series better. You'd get ratings quick.
oh, I'm not editing anything out that we talked about. I'm just putting graphics on
Oh no,
screen
I'm
and
talking about
stuff.
the series.
Oh yeah, it would have been better. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Have
want to watch
Jade,
this entire series again, just to
a little
see
bunch of hobbits.
if there's any way I could come to like it, but there's not.
Hobbit Bukaki. That's how I would
There
like it.
just isn't. All right. Yeah, my final thoughts went off into a tangent again. I can't speak about this without just being super upset about it. I
Well, you
had such
spoiled
high hopes.
the
The
series.
trailer for it was amazing. The New York
Yeah.
Times Square billboard is so great.
I
And
didn't
then
even watch the trailer, but I think I saw like a clip where there was a scene from the first game. You know, the zombie scene where they first introduced the zombie part.
oh, that was in the movie that just came out.
Oh, that's what that was?
Yeah,
So
they
that wasn't this.
no, Welcome to Raccoon City, the new Resident Evil movie that came out last September, recreated that exact scene from the game. It's in the movie. Um,
Oh, I thought that was this.
no, they recreate a bunch of stuff, but they also, if you haven't seen that yet, watch that because if you've played any of the games, you'll understand exactly why the movie is terrible. And if you haven't
Looks
played
like
any of
Cliff
the
Notes.
games, you'll still understand why the movie is terrible.
It's like game Cliff Notes, basically.
Yeah, kind of. They bite stuff from the game, but they use it in nonsensical ways. Here, put it this way: have you ever played Resident Evil 2,
Yeah,
like the original?
yeah.
All right. So in the beginning of the game, the guy driving a semi truck, it flips over, it explodes, it creates this huge fire,
Hmm.
and that's how the game starts. They bite that scene in the movie. Only it flips over directly in front of the police station and explodes. And Leon is a total waste of space in the movie. It's absolute dumb shit. And he's sitting behind the front desk in the police station, uh, wearing headphones, which
Yeah.
apparently are completely noise canceling because he doesn't hear a tanker truck explode. But then the zombie walks into the police station on fire to some cheesy 90s song.
Which one?
I can't remember. It's hilarious though. But
Is it
the
meant to
the
be
whole
hilarious?
the whole movie is just bad. They mash up Resident Evils 1 and 2 into one thing and it doesn't work at all. It's fucking garbage. And it's really sad too because the stuff that they recreate from Resident Evil 1 really makes me wish they would have just stuck to that and done a true to the lore and pre set story of Resident Evil, made the first game into a movie. Then they could have done sequels, but this guy is never going to get another Resident Evil movie off the ground. And that makes me happy, I guess, because I would hate it if he did.
There was just so much studio interference that he wasn't able to get the movie made how he wanted to.
Oh no, it's his movie.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it was an indie film.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it is because yeah, I mean it's low budget and that's fine. It's cool. The CGI in it is absolute trash. It's so fucking bad.
So it's like an asylum flick.
Nah. If you take them down a peg,
Ooh.
it was
So
not
it's
good.
like current day sci-fi flick.
Yeah, yeah. Imagine Sci-Fi Channel did Resident Evil.
Oh.
Imagine the Sci-Fi Channel in 1994 did Resident Evil.
Hey, back in 1994, they were putting out good shit.
Yeah, they were. They had X-Files, and actually they were re-airing X-Files. I think X-Files
Yeah,
was
but
on
like they had the Dune miniseries in 2000, which was closer to the book. Yeah, it was cheap, but it's Sci-Fi Channel. It's made for TV. You can't expect them to have a shit ton of money.
yeah, and it wasn't Patrick Stewart with
N-
the square box shielding.
Don't talk shit about Patrick Stewart. He was,
Dude, Patrick Stewart is the goat.
and the Pugs. Anything David Lynch is great. I even like the David Lynch Dune movie. So,
Yeah, I mean,
but
it's pretty great. And the way
sci-fi
that they
in that
did some of
time
those
period.
scenes is insane, but I won't get into the visual effects of Dune.
Yeah,
Um,
we're not going to talk about Dune, but like
no.
sci-fi back in the day was.
We
This is
can't.
like or you're mostly saying it's like post Sharknado Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, there you go. This is like the Sharknado people made Resident Evil.
I don't know, like the Sharknado movies, but you're saying like post Sharknado, so it's like
I didn't like Sharknado.
it's hilarious.
I just I'm not even gonna lie, I couldn't like it. I'm I don't I don't think that it's terrible. I won't go that far, but I couldn't like it. The premise of it to me is just stupid.
Oh man, you should see a list of movies. I've seen some pretty stupid premises in movies, and Sharknado is at least fun. There's like 12-headed sharktopus.
Yeah, I've seen the yeah, no. We're not even going to get into it. We're just going to fucking
So your movie that you're talking about now is the Welcome to Raccoon City, right? Is that the name of it?
yes.
And that is come like a post Sharknado sci-fi channel flick,
Y-
past when they were making decent stuff or trying to make decent stuff.
I mean,
And
if in terms of the CGI, in terms of like everything else, um there are scenes that actually, work and show that this dude had decent
like,
intentions. It's just the way it's just you have to watch it. It just got butchered and it got I don't
so
want
that
to talk
one's like
about it. It makes me
a
sad.
channel flick, and then this one's like a CW series. Resident Evil's getting a raw deal pretty like recently, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like that meme I put up in the Discord, like judging harshly upon the Mila Jovovich and her husband
Yeah.
series of what, 6 Resident Evil movies.
Mm,
I personally have found the silver linings in some of those. I liked elements in those movies, and I tried not to think of them as Resident Evil. Even though they used the characters, I just
they're they're fun.
yeah, they're all right. They kind of steadily declined and got more messed up, but I liked the things that they did in a few of them, and the rest of them I just like that they went for it.
Yeah,
Um,
they're kind of brain off
this
and have
this
fun.
series made me just realize that I might have been too harsh. Actually, the last 3 things that have been done in the Resident Evil name have made me realize that at least that guy conceptualized and followed through with a cohesive story and
3 things.
Just yeah, the
Oh,
Resident Evil
just
movie, the Resident Evil series animated, and the Resident Evil live action series.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Resident Evil has had 3 things come out in the last year. None of them none of them are worthy. Just sad.
Yeah, and would you want to rate it? I mean, I know it's probably low, but as a first episode,
The first episode, I would rate actually the first episode I'll give 3. I'll give 3 stars.
nice.
Um there was there's some good the dog scene was all right. That's the only horror element, or actually like intense horror element, of the entire series. Um there's the compound with all the zombies surrounding it, leading you to believe that shit's about to pop off. Spoiler, it doesn't. Actually, you know what? The dog thing isn't the only thing. I was totally forgetting about something. So I'm not even going to talk about it. Um, but there is a little something midway into the series that's actually pretty dope. Um, yeah, the first episode just it has some things. You got your Bond villain. That dude is you're gonna love
Yeah.
him. He's great. Um, there was
Like
there
when you first watched it, were
the
you interested to see where it went, or was it more of a it's Resident Evil, let's see if it gets better? Like
um
what was like truthfully like were you interested to see where they were gonna take it, or were you just like fuck, I hope it
I
gets better?
actually went into it having seen a buddy of mine in a Discord channel say that it was god awful, and it was heartbreaking to me. So I had no hopes. Um, but he and I don't agree on everything, so I guess no hopes wouldn't be exactly accurate. I had low expectations.
Hmm.
Um, it thoroughly went below those expectations. But
So the first episode didn't do anything to
the first
spike your
episode,
interest in
I was interested to see how they developed the characters. But I was also really irritated. So I wasn't hopeful for the series. I did want to see where things went, but I don't like the choppy, hard cut editing style. Like jump cuts bother me. They really do.
Yeah, me too.
It irritates the shit out of me. I don't know why people do it. I saw this
Gotten
post on
probably.
YouTube from a YouTuber that said how I became a Netflix editor in 6 months. And I thought to myself, it all makes sense now. Like, those are the people that are editing your fucking shows, You go from shows that just kill and knock it out of the park on Netflix to shows like this, and it's like these are the projects that those I've edited things for a day guys are working on. And I mean, editing it's time consuming, it is hard, but at the same time it's not hard if you have a vision for it, and I don't know, if you just understand story progression, or not taking people out of the the feel of it. You know what I mean? Like, you want them to be enveloped in that world and to stay there. And when you do hard jump cuts and bounce around between shit, and I'm not even talking about going past to present, I'm just talking about from one event to another with no segue or explanation or any kind of like this led into this. It's just I don't know. It breaks it for me at least. Like Westworld bounced around front to back, beginning end, all over the place, and that is still amazing, cohesive, well done. So I don't know. It's just it's hard to explain and try to put it into words for anybody that doesn't understand how to edit shit. And I mean, I'm not
I get
great at editing, by any means, but I understand it. I
yeah.
understand what makes good edits and what makes shitty edits. I don't know the terms for the things. It's like I don't know what the name is. I just know the sound it makes when it kills a man. You ever hear that line in the movies when somebody fires a gun? It
Yeah.
it was in Tropic Thunder. That's where I heard it. Like that's how I feel about editing. I don't know the terminology. I don't study editing. I don't look at it. I just I edit things. And a lot of it I don't even put up. Actually 90% of it. And then other stuff, I half ass. And then there's
Yeah.
things that I've actually put time into that are just to play with, but they work.
And to me, like a first episode of a series is supposed to kind of grab you. It's supposed to make you want to know what's gonna happen next. This one did not really do that for me.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better. You know what? Speaking of that, what's really funny, and I mean it's one of the reasons I actually had minor hopes that it would get better. Um Stranger Things. Stranger Things is just revered as one of the greatest sci-fi horror shows of now, of the last 5 years.
Yeah,
People speak crazy high of it, and I I could not get into Stranger Things. I
it was
watched
okay.
the first episode over the course of 5 years, 5 different times.
Mhm.
When the last season was coming out, I kid you not, I heard Robert England was in it. And I was like, well, now I have to watch the show. I will watch anything Robert England does. And a buddy of mine that has told me time and time again to watch Stranger Things was like, really? Because Robert England is in it, you're now going to give it a chance. And I said, absolutely. Like, yeah. if if Robert England
Like,
touches a production, I'm going to watch it. I don't care. So I decided to try again. I watched the first episode. I didn't care for the show at all. I gave not a shit. I watched the second episode, still didn't care. I was just kind of trying to power through it and make it so I knew what was going on so I could watch the newest season. Episode 3 absolutely grabbed me and I was like, I'm in. I want to watch this show. I ended up binge watching 4 full seasons of Stranger Things in 3 days because of that third episode. And I ended up
I can
liking the
see it.
show. I mean, it's not terrible. There are a lot of things I had issues with, but it was a good show.
Yeah.
So I really
Well,
I
I
had
think
hopes for this one that, maybe that was just another situation where Netflix, did the slow grab like, yeah, you're going to have to power through the first 2 episodes, but you get to that third episode and you're going to be like, wow. But there was no Owen Wilson moment. Nobody said wow. It was more like, no.
well, like I liked Stranger Things. I mean, I wouldn't go like, oh my god, it's the best thing ever. But the first episode was like, okay, I'll see what's going on with this. And this one didn't even do that. I mean, I'm gonna end up watching the series now that we've decided that we're gonna go to the series.
Yeah.
But it would have been one of those. serious that I go, maybe one more episode.
Yeah,
I like to give these extra chances,
yeah.
but
I'm honestly I'm looking forward to going through it again so I can pick out funny little things like that tablet screen that shows no internet connection and Microsoft Paint. That's still hilarious to me. Like they really didn't think that through.
no, I don't think they really thought most things through.
Or the fact that, you know, even if she was able to have an internet connection, what's it connected through? It's been 14 years. The world as we know it ended 14 years before that. There's 300 million people left in the world, and they're all scattered and in outposts like the one that we see in the first episode. Who's maintaining cell phone towers or satellites for that matter?
The zombies.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know, like just fucking Mr. X is out there climbing poles working on satellite arrays.
There's just like crew of really determined. Uh,
Satellite providers. Yeah, the
this
world
is
you
our
know
job.
ended, but that's not going to stop me from providing you with A1 cell service.
No, 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 they turn it into like this fucking cult, like a religious cult. And it's like, all praise the tower of waves.
You
And they
do
have
get
to
to see a
climb up.
religious cult.
Well, I mean, if it's not about the cell towers, then I don't really care.
It's not.
Like, I imagine it like, which I don't understand why serious movies don't go into that. There will be people that would later on, like, if there was this crew of people that tried to keep like communication open, and then later generations they keep up this, it just turns into a fucking cult only because that's the only thing they know,
Yeah.
and they just live their life maintaining these towers.
Oh yeah. I can't speak
Because
on that because it's it comes later in the show what I was going to say. Not what you're saying. That does not happen. But something along the lines of knowledge being passed on and stuff. It's really funny, um, but that will have to wait because it's a spoiler about just something completely stupid in the show.
I think that'd be a cool addition, having this crew of people that try their best to maintain like
I think it would have made the
internet
show better.
connectivity and phone service, and later on it turns into like this cult because it's a job that's passed down through generation to generation,
Yeah.
and no one he knows who's fucking doing it. They just know it's happening, and they believe that if they don't maintain this, it'll be absolutely the end of the world. Even though it is basically the end of the world anyway, this is gonna be the catalyst that spirals them off to like extinction, and they're maintaining of the communication is just like their generational like job.
Oh yeah. Just wait.
We should write a zombie movie that has the generation job people that maintains cell towers.
Well, that actually, you know, I have this zombie apocalypse video game that I conceptualized a decade ago, where it would be progressive over the course of like 6 months, and that kind of stuff would actually matter.
Yeah,
People would actually
because
have
it
to
does.
work jobs and get good at their trade. People would have to work together. It's a whole thing. I don't want to get into it right now because it would take me 40 minutes to just talk about that game. And I don't want to make that information public
Yeah,
because, someday who knows, maybe I could pitch it to Netflix and they'll make a video game and it won't suck. It would actually rival Grand Theft Auto in terms of popularity and enjoyment because it's actually the original title for it was Grand Theft Apocalypse. It was a total rip on an open world GTA game, but with the
Hmm,
release of a virus,
cool.
and it spread into a bigger idea, and I dropped the whole trying to pitch it to Rockstar to be a Grand Theft Auto game thing, and just build a game that's insanely deep and like an MMO. You got to live there and you got to grind. Like people have to work security jobs or hospital jobs or law enforcement jobs, military jobs. Like there's a lot. There's a
I
lot
mean, that'd
to
be
it.
hard to do during a zombie apocalypse.
Oh, and then yeah, it would have been great. It would be great. It still could. It still could.
I just imagine people working the cell towers being like the people. Like, have you seen the Mitchells versus the Machines?
I don't know if I have. That sounds familiar.
It's from the people that made the Lego movie, and it's the alien or the robot evasion thing. Because of the iPhone, and they cut off the Wi-Fi, and then there's people praying in the fucking like, or not praying, but sacrificing shit to the the Wi.
I don't think I've seen that, but it sounds amazing.
Great, it's on Netflix,
Might have to check that out.
but it's about the family, the Mitchells, and they go, and she's gonna go to film school, and during this is the Steve Jobs guy. He's younger than Steve Jobs, but he kind of creates these robots that's like your phone computer, but the robots. And his old version he throws away, and she gets like very mad because she's sentient and starts the robo apocalypse. And they one of the best lines is like they go and go like, we have these and there's free Wi-Fi, and people go into these cubes like shot off into space.
Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Yeah,
I'm gonna find that.
so that's how I would imagine like a zombie apocalypse. Like people would go fucking nuts once those cell towers come up. So of course there would be this secret. This didn't happen in Mitchell's. This would just be my like view. Like if towers get knocked down, people will go insane. So of course there'll be this organization that goes, all right, we will be the sect that repairs this, and that will be their one job is to repair the internet and have the cell service up. And once they fix it, it's just a generational tool, even though like generational job, even though they don't know anything that's going on in the outside world. Because of course they're gonna be fucking monks in my head. They're like Siberian monks.
They have no worldly
The
possessions or cares aside from that one task.
yeah.
That sounds epic.
So that would be my version of like the zombie apocalypse. Would be these like this small like little sect that's keeping it running, and then you'll see all the outside stuff, and then people question how it even works anymore. And you'll see like the monks, and they're like always repairing the towers and shit, and they're always in the background.
Like the Watchers.
Yeah.
They're just always there. Nobody notices them. Epic. All right, well, think
So
think
yeah, I would rate this as like a. You said a 3, right?
yeah.
I would rate mine around a 2. It didn't grab me, but you know what? If I'm gonna watch it anyway, I guess it's. I don't really care what happens to Jade when she falls off the fucking tower, but I want to know what like
You want to know if
villain
veganism caused
McVenom
the
does.
apocalypse
I want to know if veganism caused the apocalypse or fucking PETA. I mean, no, they say that PETA like gave
an
a
award to raccoon or
an
to
award,
umbrella. Yeah.
which actually might make sense since everything that happened in the old like in the games happened, and they're like those fucking dogs. So PETA survived the first zombie apocalypse
Well, yeah,
and and veganism
they weren't
because
in
like
Raccoon City.
yeah, they just moved into New. Well, no, Wesker was. Is he vegan too? It's like I saw too much people eating other people. Let's not hurt any other animal.
I cannot get into details about Albert Wesker or spoil any of that. Let's
All
just say
right, yeah,
it's
I'll
gonna
give it a
get
2.
weird.
Yeah, I'm sure it
It
fucking
gets
is.
it goes places.
It goes places that you don't want it to go.
Yeah, I mean some of them are okay. You give it a 2,
Okay.
I give it a 3. Either way, we're gonna end up finishing this series, and
Yeah, I'll probably give. uh, We'll do the rest of the series and probably in between episodes. What, Lightyear?
oh yeah, we do. We're gonna touch on Lightyear. I'm gonna touch all of that. Maybe try to we'll try to get in there sometime.
Yeah, yeah,
I do
fucking
want to watch
nostalgia.
that, so
I do too, just to see if it's bad or good.
just have this week I have a couple meetings
You
and
got some strength.
I got my streams and I've got my sponsorship stuff I'm trying to finish. So,
Well,
but
why don't you tell the folks where they can find your stuff,
Jeef Bird, GEEF Bird everywhere. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Um, that's, I mean, that's TikTok. I got to throw the TikTok in there now. Just fucking follow and subscribe on everything. I appreciate it. It's mad helpful, and we're
yeah,
absolutely insane. Everybody mad. I'm I'm nuts. Just just come check it out. Good time.
yeah, and I guess just keep listening to our stuff. I haven't done shit lately, so
Yeah, we haven't done one of these in it's been over a year.
right? We've been talking about it,
Yeah,
but it never goes further than talk. So
get that soft reboot
this is
going.
our soft reboot, and then we'll see how this goes. And we shall return to talk about episode 2 of Resident Evil, the Netflix series.
Yeah, stay tuned
Should we
for
even
episode
should we even
2.
call it fucking Resident Evil?
They shouldn't have, but they did. We'll try to get Resident Evil episode 2 up. Um, I think Tuesday I should be free. I'll try to get this edited together tomorrow. Get it up.
All right. Yeah,
Otherwise,
should be up.
anchor
You'll
it.
be able to find it where? Well, this will also be on Spotify, everywhere that your podcast could be heard, just audio wise.
Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
And what are you gonna do with it? You're gonna put it on the YouTubes?
Yup. on the YouTubes. I'm gonna put it up on. I was thinking I might do like a 5 minute edit, 5 to 10 minute edit, throw it on mine with a link to Loonsville and put the full one up there.
Sweet, sweet.
But yeah,
So we did just talk over an hour over oh, it was an hour episode. We forgot to even talk about it. That was an hour and what's the actual
runtime was like an
time?
hour and 6 minutes.
It's an hour and 1 minute and 56 seconds
Oh, yeah, the
for the
last
show.
episode's an hour and 6 minutes.
So it's not a like this is not like a 30-minute show,
No.
which I was kind of hoping it was gonna be once I started watching it.
I was kind of hoping it had already ended when I started it.
And that's including, of course, credits, but
Yeah, the credits are like 5 minutes long on every episode.
are are every episode like an hour long?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, they're doing that now. They're taking the HBO model, right?
I mean, Netflix has been pretty standard with the hour and 10 episodes thing. But yeah, it is
Well, they've
definitely the
been like
HBO model.
40
The
minutes or
Sopranos coined that. They're
so.
in my world and in my eyes, The Sopranos was the first to do that. Um, they paved the way with the whole hour long episode, you know, series instead of doing movies and shit. Sopranos is one of
Yeah,
the greatest shows.
it is. But that's also well written, well acted, and
Yeah, the well written part is the key. I mean,
well directed, well edited.
and yeah, the editing
Well planned out.
also very key. This has I don't know, man. This I don't want to get into talking about it again.
Yeah, we'll get back into it on episode 2. So join us while we talk about episode 2 next time on the Loonsville podcast.
Peace, peace. Thanks everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.